Well, hello. You were promised a story, so here you are, Doctor. We'll definitely get into it, man. It was a day. It was a day for sure. Oh man. It feels good to just like sit and relax. 'Cause I tell you what. Today was a bit on the stressful and hectic side. Oh boy. I mean, fortunately, I was close to canceling stream, but after talking with my wife, like, pretty well came to the conclusion that she was just gonna turn in early for the night, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna cancel stream if you're just gonna go to bed, like, right after stream starts. Because originally I was gonna just cancel stream, and like she was like, I might go to bed around like 8 or something. I was like, I don't know that I'm gonna cancel stream over that. Is there anything that we're looking to upgrade? I feel like I want to use these instead of throw them away, so we may as well. Also, something I think is still bugged out with these. Yeah, that gray one not showing up for some reason. Okay. It bugs me when the little green dot sits there. Okay, so we have, what clubs have blue fitting? I can never manage this. I always want to hit back, but I have to hit over to a different one. So 3-wood has, see, I don't want more power. Hey, what's going on, Sparky? Good to see you too. 35 streams, I saw it after the fact, TFR. So I blame Streamlabs. I saw it after the fact. I was like, gosh darn it. I almost said something about it Hevo stream today, but I had to bounce then. And so normally we're just on Twitch, right? Or like that's how we had been. So I have Twitch's dashboard open. Twitch's dashboard shows me all of the things. Well, now I have Streamlabs' dashboard open as well, so that my Streamlabs and my Twitch and my YouTube stuff is merged into the same place. But what Streamlabs only has is, I mean, it has most everything. It has follows, subs, raids, donations, all of that stuff, but it doesn't have the follow streaks. And I don't know if that's because it's a new feature, or if they don't think that there needs to be any sort of alerts that go along with it, or they're making that and it's not a thing yet. But that alert does not come through Streamlabs, so I'm like shutting everything down, and then I see in the Twitch dashboard shared the 35 stream streak, and I was like, dang. No, I know you're memeing, but like I did see it, and I was a little bit annoyed. Hey, what's going on, JDK? Surprised not to see all legendary fittings? It pretty much purple and up is fine. You don't need to have it, in my opinion. Because at the end of the day, there's like only like a 1 or 2 point difference. So once the yardages are at a spot that you like, you know, it's minimal stuff that you're trying to tweak out. So like at this point, we've got so many legendary fittings, I'll probably try and roll for something that maybe has a point better in transition, you know, like something minute. All right, so we have purple on these two. So I mean, I guess if we try for like a legendary power shaft and just essentially try and get that 10 again and see what we roll from there. I mean, I guess we can just roll these ones into it, right? I mean, we have so many of them. Whoops. No, can I... these menus. Wood. I gotta filter it now, because apparently you can't do it from that. Okay, so we'll take the timing one. Exchange, timing, sure. And then we'll go for a wood grip with power, yeah. See, that's... I feel like I would want more in the shaping and lie range, but no, we didn't, Busey. Good evening, by the way. We didn't. I'm just at, like... I'm at max. So I'm just trying to... This is so weird. Something's bugging out with this menu, though. Like, I've had fittings not show up, and you have to filter down to find them, and... Yeah, I just hit the 100 cap and trying to clear some space on it. I did over the weekend lose so Saturday when that outage happened, I saw people saying that, like, their character got reset and they lost clubs. I went in, my character was reset, I had all the fittings on my account, but they weren't applied to the club. And I was like, oh no, like, if this doesn't get fixed, like, that's a really bad look, and I'm gonna be really annoyed. But then I logged back in yesterday, and everything was back. So whatever they did, they were able to resolve it. I mean, they've had a couple of server outages and issues. Yeah, they've had them on numerous occasions at this point. At least, like, 3 times, I want to say, that I know of since Saturday. 2 or 3 times. So, yeah, they're definitely running into some issues due to top spin, but fortunately everything came back. Like, it looked very much so like when people have issues on PC, and, like, it just completely resets everything. So, very, very happy to see that get resolved, because if that didn't get resolved, I was going to be really, really annoyed, and I don't know what I was going to do. Because, like, obviously we could go and we could, you know, you can refit and all of that, and, like, we have the VC to do so, but I don't know. There's also, like, a principle of it, because they didn't address it at all on social media. Yeah, they addressed that there was an issue with the servers, and then that was about it. Yeah, I was like, oh, we have some server errors, might be experiencing some stuff, and okay, those errors are fixed. Yeah, you can go back online, basically, and play. And then there were a bunch of comments saying that, like, Pill's PGA Tour 2K stuff was all messed up and missing and reset. I didn't see a single response to it or anything addressing that in particular, and then they did fix it. But I don't know, I was almost thinking that they wouldn't fix it. But I guess it's probably too big of an issue for them to ignore at that point. Because I would have almost wagered that there was like a 60-40 chance of them not fixing it. And I think if it was a less widespread issue, they probably would have just said, well, it's late enough in the game cycle. Alright, not a great thing that swing is easy to get today. We'll see how it goes. So if we canceled stream today, I just guess, like, talking in a theoretical, if we had canceled stream today, we probably would have double stacked tomorrow. I think we would have done a rounds 2 and 3 Wednesday. Bannerlord's achievements are insane. 39.8% of people have the achievement for starting the game. What? 79.2% have the achievement for making it past the first. That seems like a bug. The Jordan flu game? What do you mean? Oh, there's like the Michael Jordan flu game. What's the, I know what you're talking about now. I think backswing pace matters in timing. As far as, so, yes and no. No in the sense that I don't think it actually matters. Like, I truly believe that no matter how slow you pull back or how fast you pull down, that the downswing timing is the same. But I think it helps influence how you naturally time the club. It's the same way that people have a different pace in their IRL swing, but people can still hit a good shot from a pause drill. You know? I think it's harder to dictate. Matters in the power bar. Yeah, ultimately you still have to, there's still only so many ways that you can get to that power. Play great because of the hiccup? Okay. Yeah, so like you still have to, but you can still pull back faster or slower and time to that power. So yeah, it's about finding the flow that works for you, but ultimately your downswing timing is your downswing timing. I hope you're right, TFR. We started out really well yesterday. Lost the swing down the stretch. But if we can find it again and just like hold on to it for dear life, you know, it's a tough track. It's a weird one in that it is quite tough, but the people that are striking well are able to score well. Yeah, we came out, what, 6 under through 7, realistically had a good chance of being 7 through 7, missed that eagle putt. But then went on a little bit of a par train around the turn. Yeah, it was a rough bit there. Par train around the turn, and then only 4 birdies down the back, I think it was. So yeah, we struggled a lot in here. Like some pretty big slow tempos started to come out, but when we were firing, we were placing them in good spots, leaving ourselves reasonable putts. So it's always that sort of thing that like keeps me, like it reminds me that like we do still have it in terms of picking out our shots a lot of the time. I mean, yes, we do mess up some of these. Moderate greens, high winds, and defaults. What are the defaults at? Firm, and a little bit slower than fast. Whew. There's a big yawn out of nowhere. Alright, let's see if anything is rocking something similar. Moderate greens should bode well for us. I mean, theoretically, moderate greens tend to be our sweet spot. Elite is all sorts of cranked up. Jeez. Elite is all sorts of cranked up this week. Very fast on the first round, like 170 something on the second round. Lots of very firms, very highs. Elite's getting angry. I mean, I know that Elite is essentially just an extension of Plat, but holy cow. That's some angry scheduling out there. That's for sure. Okay, come on, servers. Don't do this to me. That would be like the biggest kick in the nuts. Would be to have a long rough day, adjust stream so we could still do it, and then like if the PGA servers go down, I mean, we would switch over and we would play Hades, and we would just maybe do a couple runs of Hades as opposed to, yeah, we're not able to do an attempt tonight because we're starting later, but I would like to play round 2. I would like to stay on schedule. I'm very much so a schedule-oriented individual. Creature of habit. Moderate, default. That's a little bit fast. I'm trying to go 134s, and they're like, nah, dog, we're gonna play 170. It's like, not what we're looking for. Gone too far with Elite? Get to see it to Plat, but they need to calm down. Well, it's funny, Busey, because I think a lot of times Kinetic, for a while, like for years, it felt like more often than not, Kinetic got harder scheduling from Mammoth than Elite did. And I guess that's what you get when you have different schedulers for each tour. Okay, this isn't moderates, but it's a little bit closer. We'll take it. It's the slowest greens that we've got on any of the other tours. Normally somebody's got like a moderate green going on, but I guess not this time. Yeah, I always felt like Kinetic had tougher scheduling than Elite did. But like, obviously, you know, it's you against your competition, so it doesn't really matter, but yeah. Game's in your head with the way you swing the stick? Think you've worn the rubber or loosened the stick up too much or something? Fairly Fresh Controller 2 just feels different, or you just suck? Hey, thank you for the luck. We're just getting warmed up right now. Getting the thumbs loose. Getting the reeds going. But yeah, it's such a mental game, which is funny, right? Like, golf is a mental game, but you almost don't expect the virtual version to be so mental, but I think that's kind of what happens. You know, as soon as you make anything into competitive, or like you're trying to, you know, you're striving to be better, I think you're always bound to bring the mental in. Because I definitely find with this game that like these warm-up rounds and stuff, when we're just in a flow, hanging out, chatting, you know, I'm still making reads and I'm doing stuff, but I'm able to, it's the same way I was with track, which is kind of interesting. So I'm able to dissociate just enough and like check out a certain part of my brain that I can fire at my peak. When I ran track, high school, middle school, high school, college, I was a chase runner. Like, that's what I always called myself. I was great as like a third leg of a 4x1, second leg of a 4x4. Put me on the inside lane, which I know like the inside lane is the like not ideal line, but like if I was running my open race, like a 300 hurdles, 400 hurdles, like put me in lane 1 or 2, because normally your top seeded guys are out in 3, 4, 5, 6. Put me in 1 or 2. Let me see them the whole time. They're giving me a speed to like they're giving me a time to chase, a tempo to keep with. Second leg of a 4x4, I could just sit on a guy. Like, when I don't have to pace myself, when I don't have to think about it, I could just like let everything else take over, everything that's like been trained, and I can kind of cruise control it at a high level of efficiency, and then try and push myself at the end. It's the same thing with this. If we get into a tune and I'm just looking and we're chatting and I'm picking things and I can fire off tempos and we're rolling, I feel like we get into rounds and I slow it down and I really think and sit, and like it gives you the opportunity to overthink every individual action that you do. And then it can start to snowball, because like if it's going well, that's fine. As soon as it's going well and I like recognize it's going well and I think about it, it's like a switch happens. Then you start to miss here, miss here. You might make some in between, but like it's just not as fluid and it's a lot more prone to mistakes and disruption. That's at least how I view it. %, is gonna be a little bit too short, I think. Actually, there's the bounce. Never mind. It's a bit more left than I thought, though. Yeah, so it's very much so a testament to the top of the top, you know? It's very much so a testament to the top of the top. The ability to have that level of consistency of inputs. Now, I will say, I do see people at the top, you know, they're able to miss inputs. I struggle very much so with putting. And so that's one place that I know I throw strokes away. If I have a bad approach, like, my chance of make goes way down, whereas, you know, better players are not missing nearly as many. Aren't missing nearly as many putts. I know that's pretty steep. Yeah, I thought I could maybe clear a little bit further. But trying to hit hybrid there seemed like the gap was a bit much. That's a deceptively difficult chip. Because of how steep that is, you're like just flirting with that front edge. Don't know what Stives' secret is winning by 7 to 10 strokes. His tempo is so consistent, but he has good proximity and good putting consistently. Like that's the big thing. That's the big thing. It's a consistency thing. Yeah, like when you watch Stives and you watch Coxter and you watch like these guys that play on feel, I feel like, you know, my approach game might be, I did not get that enough to the right. That was too sketchy. Like my approach game might be better in some respects, but the percentage make of putt, like I can have less than 20-foot proximity every tournament, but if I am outside of 7 feet, like I'm missing, you know, my putt make percent for medium is like 75 to 85% on average, right? Now, given 75% is like 3 of 4, 85% is like 5 of 7 type of thing. But that's easily like that's a few missed putts in medium range, and then long range I'm at like 30 to 35%. Yeah, when you're looking at these top putters, they're at like 95+%, 97% on these medium putts, probably 100 most weeks, and their long putting is probably in the like 50+ range, if not higher than that. Now, obviously, I hate the long putting stat. I wish that the long putting stat was expanded to, even if it was just like 10 to 15, 15 to 25, something. Like, I wish the long putting had a little bit more granular breakdown, just as like the stat nerd in me. Yeah, with 10-footers, I hit 6 feet. 6 feet I'm normally fine, but like I hit, unless there's a ton of break, once I hit like 7 foot and out, like my comfortability in looking at the putt and like how much it's gonna break, I mean, drops dramatically. And for the level of player that I like to think of myself as, but more so the, you know, the level of competition that we're at, for how bad my putting is kind of ridiculous that we've never been demoted. Which I guess just goes to show like how good my ball striking really is, because you know, we make it work. We make it work with these like 50 to 60% one putt rounds. .228, 224. I think I have to give this long. I don't know. This feels like one that flies. Yeah, it just ends up being like a pretty crazy thing that, you know, when you look at Sives, you look at Coxter, and these guys are as good as they are, and they're playing rounds in 20, 30 minutes at the level that they do. And it takes me, I'm like a 45-minute player, give or take. And that's just to every once in a while have a single round that beats them, but most times I'm well off the mark. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, an absolute crap ton of respect for him. But yeah, there's just something about it. Like, my ability to perceive a putt is minimal. And it really doesn't help that in real life, like, I try and do aim point. Hold that putt about 50-50, makes it 80-20, and it's, what's his secret? He plays off a feel. Like, it's just, yeah, just something about perception and understanding, whereas like I'm a much more calculated player, and I don't think that side of my brain like fires the same way as it does for other people. Because I don't know that I would even call that putt 50-50 for me. I mean, probably close to it, but it's probably closer to 40-60. Like, even this sort of putt, right? 8 foot, little bit of break. For me, this is just dangerous enough. And like, that almost misses high, whereas like a lot of times I miss that low. And so then that like sends, you know, that kind of relays this thing in the back of my head of like, well, what's going on there? Let me take a look at something real quick, because I think I noticed something that shouldn't. Apologies, I'm taking a look at... Probably need to look into this a little bit more. I think right now chats from both are showing. Okay, let me make a note to myself real quick. From Philly, so I grew up about an hour north of Philly, so I am Philly sports through and through. I live down near DC now, which kind of sucks in terms of having to listen to them talk about Washington sports all the time on the radio and stuff. This seems like to me we would end up pretty long. Could roll and have something long, or you put it short. I don't know if there's any benefit to trying to partial this. This seems like a risk more than a reward. Yeah, because like leaving this short and out to the right, now I put it into light rough that we have to hit out of. I mean, it's light rough, so it's not the end of the world, but ultimately I don't think you really want to be here. Yeah. I think the only way that you're gonna get breaks on that going down the hill out of the light rough, we'd have to do one of our crazy partialed flop shots in order to get that to happen. Not from York or Pittsburgh area, cool with you? What's wrong with York? Because they're Pennsylvania people that cheer for Baltimore? I have family in York, but they moved out there. They're originally Philly people, so they're all Philly people out in York. Where York is like a weird. There's Baltimore people, Pittsburgh people, and Philadelphia people, and so you get like at the collegiate level. Then you're also getting Penn State and Pitt and some Philly schools, and probably. I guess it's not close enough for UMD, and like UMBC is not really a big thing, but yeah, you get a pretty big split there. But it's a lot closer to Baltimore than you would think. I probably should have tried to... maybe not. I'll take that back. I was gonna say... I probably should have put a little bit of... or taken a little bit of spin off of it when I tried to do that de-lofted fade, but no, that works out. That's really nice. These are some... narrow fairways. I mean, there's a lot of light rough, which I guess is nice. And I suppose also sort of makes it in a way where I can just play for it, no risk. Or no worry. I guess there's technically risk, but I can be fairly worry-free. Because 5% of 79 is still only 4 yards, right? So you get this like pin high, put a touch of loft on it, and mostly backspin, and should be able to pretty well negate everything going on here. Yeah, like there's the distance control. Didn't aim it well, but... Hey, what's going on, GH? Welcome back. I'm doing alright. I'm doing better. I'm doing better. Today was a rough day. We started stream about 30 minutes or so later than normal. Let's see, what do we got here? Alright, let's do a little bit of story time. Let's do a little bit of story time. So, today was admittedly a very rough day. So I'm sitting there working, nothing out of the usual to start the day. But yeah, so what? I start my work day, let's call it 7. I'm working, and right a little bit before 11, all of a sudden my wife calls me like frantic. So she was out of town for the weekend, took our 1-year-old up to her parents. Yeah, so it was like a 4-hour trip. She went up, she's coming home, she's about a little over halfway home. I get this frantic call, and I'm like, oh no. She hit something in the road, it like gashed her tire flat. She pulls off. Guy stops and she calls me, gets off. She's trying to call for roadside, or is about to. Guy pulls off, is kind enough to change the tire for her, but then she's got to drive on the spare, another 20 minutes or so to the next town. Well, that town is like an hour 15 from our house. It's like 85 miles. Realistically, shouldn't be driving on the donut for that long. So I drive up. The plan is to drop her car off at like a Costco tire center and get it fixed. I'm gonna go up and pick her up, my son up, like load everything out of our SUV into my Civic. So we get all of that done. They go, as we're leaving, they're able to take her car in and get it looked at. We're like, okay, cool. Like, we'll just drive home. We'll have like her aunt, who lives not too far from us, come up later in the day, and then we'll make that hour-plus drive back, go pick up the car, and bring it back, and we'll be done with it. Well, like, we're leaving. We fill up gas. We're just getting onto the highway. They give a call, and they say, we don't have the tire. We have to order it in. So they filled up her tire and said, like, you can drive it home. So then we drove it, the last 85 miles or whatever on the highway, got it down to our local Costco, and had them put in an order for the tires. It was a mess. And like at that point, like my son had been up for a while. Like he was up early this morning and then was screaming in the car because he was uncomfortable and hated it. And then we're trying to get him happy. By the time I was driving him back, he had been up for like 5 hours. And for anybody with kids, a 5-hour wake window for a nearly 13-month-old is not ideal. So he passed out only for like an hour, but it was better than the half-hour nap he took in the car with my wife. So got him home, got him happy. Then we like settled things down and had him but like I left at like 10 something, maybe close to 11. I think by the time I got out, it was like 11, it was just after 11. Didn't get home until close to 3. I just like put a message in my work chat. I was like, wife is in the next state with my son and a flat tire on the side of the road. So I'm gonna be out for the rest of the day. So yeah, that was my day. That was the big story. So I hadn't seen my wife since they left Friday. They left Friday, you know, coming home today, Tuesday. So, like, there was definitely a chance that I was gonna not stream tonight, cancel everything, like, catch up with the wife, just kind of relax, because, like, obviously she had, you know, it was a lot for me, but it was a lot more for her. But ultimately, we decided that she would probably go to bed a little bit after 8 or so, and so we would just push back the stream, and then I would stream from then on. So we're gonna cut the Hades portion of the stream out. Hey, what's going on, Scotty? Thank you very much for the raid, dude. Did the alert go off? I think it did. I see the alert, obviously. Did the alert go off on stream? Sketchy situation, a woman alone with a child nowadays. Yeah, well, she had a flat tire. There was... All you would be able to do is just lock your car. Fortunately, it was a guy that, like, he used to drive over the road, right? So he was used to be a professional truck driver. So he was saying about the area and, like, fortunately being a good Samaritan. That worked, Lucas. I heard that. But Scotty, thank you very much for the raid. Welcome on in, everybody, from Scotty's stream. Kurtzky, welcome back. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so that worked on the activity feed. So can I not configure the activity feed? Because... so weird. The raid didn't come through in this chat bot, but the alert did for the bits. So apparently this chat bot only cares about money. I did not set it up that way. I'd just like to head up, make that known, that I am not trying to be a streamer that only cares about your money. I do appreciate it though, Lucas. I do. Got the alert on your phone. Okay, good. I thought I might have heard it, but I like read it and then kind of zoned out the sound and then wasn't sure. Ask how the course is. Kind of doesn't matter to you anymore since you're out of Plat finally. You'll be back soon enough. You'll be back soon enough. Bad days, a bad roll. The game of life can only last. Yeah, and like everybody's fine. It was just like it was a lot. It was a lot of stress. It was a lot of driving and figuring things out on the fly. But yeah, we good now. We good now. Now it's just a story to tell. And also my wife said I'm never doing that again. And I said you'll probably be fine to drive with him alone when he's like 2 or 3, but when he's at the age where his communication level is screaming because he has a dirty diaper, yeah, I understand not wanting to do that again. That was slow. Yeah, short and slow. But yeah, the course, Lucas, it's one of those courses that it can sneak up on you. You can get ahead of it, you can get on a roll, but it definitely has teeth. You can definitely get out of position, and just find yourself making pars. That's pretty good. Well designed to set it. Yeah, I mean, so this is CC, but the Plat course I know is a real life recreation. Like that's a LiDAR. I forget exactly where that Prairie Dunes is actually located, but McTree's ported the LiDAR course. We were talking about it a little bit in some DMs. Just about like we had talked about it on stream, and then just a little bit more in depth of like how much of a disconnect there is in terms of like the game's green speed and the game has a green speed. It's in Kansas, Ears? Okay, how you doing, by the way, Ears? Welcome back. Like, the LiDAR import is unplayable. Even, like, it's only playable on, like, very slow. So, like, I think there's something off with the physics engine of the game. Like, I think that's a thing, but I also think that there's just, like, a really poor translation between IRL stimp and whatever the designer's stimp is. Okay, that's just traveling so much further to the right. Like, so much further to the right. Okay, it was a straight play. I had it straight originally, and then I made the adjustment at the end. Yeah, so we're a little bit late to start the stream and stuff tonight, just because of all of that. So that's why we're on our first warm-up round on CC right now, and not an early start to Plat. Also, while it's top of mind, I like to just throw a little reminder out that anybody watching the stream over on YouTube, if you are enjoying, a like goes a very, very long way. I know it's a very small thing, but, you know, the YouTube algorithm only knows what you tell it. Planning to get the EA college football game when it comes out in July, or is golf the only sports game you care for? I think I'm gonna try it. I never actually played the old NCAA football games. That being said, oh, I underhit that. That's my bad. I felt that the joystick didn't rumble the right amount, but I went with it anyway. I played Madden and stuff as a kid. Now I'm going to be like a very scrubby player in terms of play calling and all of that. Like, I definitely don't have a huge mastermind when it comes to offensive or defensive schemes. You know, I understand the game, I understand the rules, I understand a lot of things about it. But I definitely enjoy college sports quite a bit. So I think we're gonna give it a go. Scrubby play call, yeah, it's gonna be. Because if I'm being completely honest, Lucas, as a kid, that Ask Madden button, every time, Ask Madden, Ask Madden, Ask Madden. Madden, give me the play call. What are we running here? I mean, not every time, but like most of the time. If I was playing like at my friend's house against him, you know, I'd try and like pick something. But like I would say that the reasoning for play selection was probably not great. And I never knew where the stuff was. So like, even if I knew that I wanted to run a Hail Mary, for example, finding the Hail Mary, I don't think I knew in the playbook where it actually was. I underhit that, so we're not going to get up to the hole. Hey, what's going on, Class Dose? You do Ask Madden for defense, but pick the offensive plays. I think I'd probably be a little bit better now. At least have an idea of what I would want to do. But doing it under the time crunch, right, that you're put on under the clock, that still, to me, is probably going to be something that gets me in trouble. Yeah, I think we'll give it a try, right? I mean, why not? I enjoy college football. It's still in the sports scene. I feel like we talk about sports a lot, but my interests are a lot of times in action RPG type games, as opposed to more sports things. So like, I know that I could probably have better success as an overall channel if I was just sports themed, right? Like if I enjoyed, you know, MLB The Show and all of those sorts of things, I'm sure I could find some success with it. But I've never played MLB The Show, and it just doesn't speak to me. The only MLB game that I've ever played, well, modern game, I have Tecmo Baseball, that if we're counting that, or World Series Baseball on the Sega Genesis. I have those baseball games, played those. Outside of those games, though, I think I played MLB 06 on the PS2, which was the same year that MLB The Show dropped. I'm pretty sure that was the first ever MLB The Show, so. They're fun. I tried, and I think I could still get some enjoyment out of it doing more of the, like, my player, Royce McElroy. Thank you for the follow. Thank you. You know, I think doing like the career mode, like getting into the career mode or the franchise stuff, is probably where that'll probably be the sweet spot for me. I think getting into the collectible Ultimate Team, I tried that. We tried at one point to do the whole like FIFA Ultimate Team thing, and it just wasn't. It didn't end up being as fun as I would like it to be. Ends up being just so much of a grind. Like, you need to put in so much time to it that I just don't have. If that was like my main game and I was streaming it for 30 some hours a week, then probably. But I have a wife and kid, and I get to stream like 16 hours a week tops. So I have to be a lot pickier. Non-flashbacks, right, Luis? That was, in my opinion, that was the low point of the channel. Like the all-time low point of the channel. Not when we first started. It was when we went to FIFA. Just run the same play over and over? That said, you also know you're not very good. I mean, the computer doesn't know. That's the thing, too, is I don't think I ever played on, like, high difficulty settings. And I know that's, like, the thing to do is, like, play on the all Madden or all Pro or whatever the, like, highest difficulty is. I probably just played on Pro. I always played, like, 5-minute quarters. I knew I hit it too firm. I knew I hit it too firm, because that's actually the right read. What's going on, Scud? Topspin? You know, my tennis experience in video games is Wii Tennis. And my experience watching tennis is, like, maybe a set of Wimbledon every 10 years. I did watch, when it came out, though, I did watch King Richard. Yeah, that was a pretty good movie. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any connection to tennis. And, like, ultimately, whenever we play a game, I want it to be genuine. I don't want it to be that oh, I'm just playing a game because it's the hot thing and that's what's gonna get views or what have you. Like, I want to genuinely want to play the game. Slowed it. That's gonna take an ugly bounce now too. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Think I'd like the gameplay, but wait for it to go on sale. Yeah, I can consider it. I think at that point I would have to see like what is like then if you're not gonna get it at launch when you're interested in it, then you have to find that balance of like enjoyment versus, you know, how much interest there is in it still. Yeah, because you have to really like it. Like, we're playing Hades now. I really enjoy it, so that trumps the fact that, you know, it's not super popular at the moment, but it's also not a sports title, which sports titles weigh differently because normally sports titles are yearly, which I know Topspin's not, but just as like a general thing. Little bit of movement. It's always straight. Why do I ever change the aim on those? All right. I'm gonna take a quick little BRB. We could run the real crap BRB screen, but I'll leave it as just the chair stream. We'll find another one to warm up with, and then we'll hop into it. I know we're a bit behind tonight, but that is as planned. So we'll play one more when I'm back, and then we'll hop into some Plat. Thank you everybody for being here. I greatly appreciate it. Again, if you're watching over on YouTube and you enjoy it, a like goes a long way. I would greatly appreciate it. But that's enough sellout stuff for now. I'll be back in just a few moments. We are back in business. So, in the midst of my, like, our fiasco day that we had here, we made a quick pit stop. Well, not quick pit stop. We were at Costco. They had the car. We were trying to get some lunch, whatever, decompress before we get our son some food before we got back on the road. Well, you know those, like, metalish tables that they have, the, like, picnic-y tables that they have in their food court? Well, we were at one that was, like, close to a wall, and I stood up and didn't realize there was, like, some pipe kind of going across. Caught me off guard. I kind of bumped into it and, like, stood back because I didn't want to, like, full run into it. Well, I hit the back of my, like, the back side of my calf on the corner, like, the rounded corner of it, and that thing still, there's, like, still a knot or some sort of soreness where I backed into it. It's not fun. I wasn't really feeling it. Got up to walk out of the room, and I was like, that is not a good feeling. You can feel the, like, little throb in my leg. Ugh. No bueno. Mr. Torture Chamber, you did not, McTrees. We're just, we're getting warmed up at the moment. We had a late start today, so you are here just in time for the last dial-in round. And then we go. Man, these are like Plat fairways here on CC, my goodness. Kids' bedtime, Mavs game may have to be a little limited. I get that. Our kiddo was, you missed the story. Long story short, my wife was like an hour plus away with a flat tire. My son was up early this morning and then had a 13-month-old with a 5-hour wake window in the middle of the day. That was fun. Now he was actually mostly good. He just he passed out then in the car, but he was a nightmare before that. He had an earlier bedtime tonight. It's closer to like 6:30, whereas normally he's like closer to 7:15. So not too much, but like, you know how it is. You don't want it to get too far offset. Have some roll, but moderates should slow it down. Miss those days? Yours are 7 and 10, so you're good to get them down by 9. I feel that. My parents kept our bedtime at like 8 p.m. for a good while. Because I have like a core memory of Thursday nights. At a certain point, I want to say by like mid-late elementary school, my bedtime could be 9 o'clock on like certain nights. I have a core memory of we'd go and do bedtime, and then a few minutes later, I was allowed to sneak back down on Thursday nights to watch Survivor with my mom. That's like a core memory for me. So like my sisters would go down for bed, and then I'd sneak out, and my mom and I would watch Survivor, and then I'd go to bed. But I had to always act like I was going to bed so that my sister didn't know it was happening and get upset and throw a fit at bedtime. Inside Out, at least haven't. I've actually only watched Inside Out once. But I know that we're going to watch Inside Out 2. And I know I'm going to watch Inside Out. Give it a few years, I'll watch Inside Out a few times. We watched the new Wish Disney movie Wish a few times already. I think we just watched Tangled. My son likes the bright colored animated stuff. My wife tried to put on Aladdin. He wasn't having it. He was not having it. The Troll series, all the neon, yeah. Funny enough, my wife and I actually watched the Troll series just on our own. Because we're like, well, we know a lot of the actors and actresses, and like some of the music is solid. Like the one song from the first one with Justin Timberlake, like I had no idea that was from Trolls until my wife told me that. I was like, wait, what? This just sounds like a this just sounds like a Justin Timberlake song. Just don't do 200 damage on the first turn of a boss fight and slay the Spire? Teach me your ways, Doctor. Teach me your ways, man. Killing it, literally. Yeah, there's a second one coming, and I think, like, relatively soon, too. Like, I don't think it's too far away. I think there are trailers and everything. Because I think the second one is now they're hitting, like, puberty, and so there's all of that anxiety and all the different stuff that comes with it. I think that's the spin they're going with. Came out when she was 3 and watched it like 50 plus times. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know what it's gonna be for our son. We'll find out soon enough what new movie there is that he, or maybe old movie that he falls in love with. But yeah, the first one was solid. We ended up watching all of them. First one music was good. The World Tour one was alright. I thought Ozzy Osbourne was kind of a funny thing with that. I felt like there was so much adult humor in the third one. Like, some of the stuff that they said, my wife and I looked at each other and went, this is a like, kids movie? They said, what now? I wish I remembered some of them offhand, but I hit that firm. I think. Maybe not. But I was definitely taken aback on a few things. I was like, whoa. All right, I guess this is the, you know, putting the parental and parental guidance here. All right, where'd my stuff go? It's the only thing, if I like click off a window, I have so many windows open trying to find everything. This is an interesting course. Like, if you find, some of the time, it almost just feels like, screw it, just send it down there and take the light rough, because the yardage difference is so big that you can probably manage your pitch shot. I mean, this one isn't a pitch shot, but a lot of them are tending to be. I don't know if this probably like jumps out very quickly. Not when you slow it like that. Would have been so good. Okay, no, I should, these are actually 134s, so I should be trying to read these and get a feel so that on Plat, I have an actual idea of how things are breaking. Yeah, like we just have to. I have to take the actual reads. I should. In reality saying I should be always reading and always like giving it like the 100% try on the reads to ingrain that in our brain a little bit better, but when you get the exact green speed. And that would definitely be the benefit of just like doing a true practice round on the course, but I feel like I would probably end up trying to dig into it a little bit too much. You know, take it a little bit too literally in terms of like seeing putts and shots and wins. We have to be better about hitting inputs. We did a good job about it yesterday. Have to do a better job about it through the entire course of the round. Yeah, we have to. I mean, then we have to have these putts go our way when the time comes. But I think it's probably a worthwhile thing to practice it this way, and then also I think what I need to do is like pull back and intentionally overhit on these green speeds. Because I think that the power that I'm giving, or the read that I'm giving, I have to be hitting the intended power, and unless it's like a short one, you can't really get away with too much overpower without skewing the line too much. Okay, so for moderate, you do want it to release 3 feet up, a little bit up here. We've got a little bit of loft on it, and then 90%. I don't know. That's the idea. We'll see how it shakes out. I mean, I did technically allow for it to release a little bit more, and it went through the brakes, so I suppose that that's a somewhat expected and reasonable outcome. I mean, gotta hit a straighter putt than that, but just a little bit off the mark. I think it also goes to show when CC is this easy, you know, we're not lighting it up. That boils down so much to putting, because a lot of these greens are not anything too crazy. So I think people just like look at this and then they're like, okay, there's a couple little moving, you know, bits, and they're just able to point and shoot, but make that at a high consistency. That's like, when I look at that, I go, okay, that was a lucky guess. But a lot of people just have a way better feel. And maybe there's just some perceptive stuff that, like, I'm just looking at the wrong things. Putting is a mystery. It's definitely there's definitely a big mental aspect to it. Because it's so often that when it's rolling, right? Like, you get on a roll, you have this really good feel about things. You know, you just kind of are always right on the mark. Really trying to sit that down. It's so hard. Now, I don't know, and one thing... Maybe this is more of a real-life golf question. When you're on such a downslope like that, are you ever trying to actually spin the ball? Or is it, you know, if you're short, are you just trying to de-loft it even further? Like, what do you... When you're on a slope like that, how are you trying to control that shot? Because I always wonder in that situation, is it worth it trying to add the loft back onto that shot? Or are you trying to then take the lower club and, like, I don't know, de-loft it further, I guess? I don't know if that's even a smart thing to attempt. That was slow. Hey, what's going on, Stan? Take one less club, the ball won't spin as much, run out more. Yeah, I think I would need to do some testing in this game with that to like really understand just situationally, you know, how it plays. Cause that's what I always think in this game, like, well, should I be just in that situation, instead of taking the sand wedge and lofting it, should I just be expecting that lob wedge to go and roll out a little bit more, potentially even try and take even more spin off of the lob wedge, knowing it's going to carry further but not enough, and try and, you know, roll out even more? That felt firm. Not so sure about that. Similar where downslope has lower launch, so more likely to play a one hop type shot. I mean, we're already talking about a downslope, so I guess I'm a little bit confused, Scud. So like what we were talking about, we have a downhill lie, a little bit of tailwind. You know, do you try and play loft into that shot to peel it back and stop it, or do you so it was a sand wedge that I lofted and went a little bit long, but it was good, or do you try and stretch that lob wedge now, right? Because I have a 14-yard gap between my lob wedge and my sand wedge. Are you trying to stretch that lob wedge a little bit further than it's already gonna get? Are you trying to take spin off of it and just roll it? Think you get from that lie? Yeah, that's always the tough part, is I have a hard time gauging exactly how much one might get. On downslope, that 7-iron loft turns into a 6-iron, receive the launch angle and spin of a 6. Yeah, I guess it gets the launch angle and spin, but like this game, I don't know, I feel like you don't get the actual flight distance though. So like you might get the, I don't know, you get the loft of it, but I guess because the club length is the same, that you don't get the same distance. So like my 7-iron goes 186. I don't get 10 yards, you know, out of a downhill lie. In fact, sometimes I think you even lose yardage. So it's kind of weird. But on wedges, like, I know wedges are definitely gaining distance on downhill lies. 190 is the number where you start losing, like, de-lofting. You just generalize, yeah. I get that. Alright, this is uphill, so this should get a bigger first hop. Right? Just a few yards off first hop, and then I'm gonna play no spin on it and see what we do here. I hit that so fast. Big hop. Still a little bit of release because I didn't play any spin, but not as much because it was lofted. Right on top of your recommended, Shotzi? Fire me right up, man. How's it going, Shotzi? Live in more places. Giving it a whirl, enjoying it. It's been going better than expected. I just think, I don't know. We put out the videos on YouTube and stuff, but streaming is more my natural home, and we're still gonna put videos on YouTube. I'm gonna take a different approach with it. Instead of putting 4-round videos, starting next week, we're gonna try and like edit down to a tournament video. See how that goes. I have some ideas with what I want to do with it. How long it'll take me to edit it. Hopefully it won't be too long. Shot 39 for 9 holes. I'm jealous, man. 9 holes would probably be, I don't know, depends. If I'm playing 9, it's anywhere from mid-40s to mid-50s. I'm trying so hard. I'm trying so hard to not just be a better ball striker, just be a ball striker. Now, not that I'm like whiffing the ball, but I don't make good contact. My distances are crap. My accuracy is crap. It's really frustrating. It's really frustrating. We'll get there. It's so tough when you are two-putting so much, but you take, you know, par 4 takes you 3-4 shots just to get to the green every time. Like that's if things go well, you know. Get on the green, we're way better. I almost, to the extent of like, I almost drained a like 55-foot putt on a par 3. I like found the front edge of the green, pin was in the back, so you can tell my distance issues there. But then almost drained the 55-footer, made the 2-putt par. I think I only had one, when I played on Saturday, I think I only had one hole where I just completely smothered the ball and took a 3-putt because of it. Everything else was 2-putt, or I think I made one from the fringe and 0-putted, or... We'll get there. We'll get there. But man, as someone who's competitive, I mean, you guys see how I am with the virtual golf. You know, I ran track and everything. Like I was self-admittedly a gym class hero. Like that's just the kind of, that should surprise nobody either. That's just the kind of person that I am. It's just so frustrating to know that, like, I understand golf, at least, I guess I understand conceptually. I clearly don't understand if I can't hit the ball well. But like, as somebody who I would say is still fairly athletic and understands what's going on and all of those things. Like, it just is incredibly frustrating to be like so inconsistent and short. And I guess there's a pride thing. I should probably play off the gold tees most times, but I know that I should be off at least the whites. Not at least the whites. I know that that's like my limit at the moment. So, yeah, long story short, very, very jealous of the 39. That was like a long-winded. I think the other thing is I enjoy it so much that I hate how, like, I know there's always, it's always the type of thing you enjoy, but you're going to be frustrated with it in some capacity. But I think there's just that added level of frustration to it. When you enjoy it so much and you want to just want to be better. Just want to be decent. And I'm sure it's, you know, once I get decent, I'm sure I'll want to be good. And once I'm good, I'll want to be great. But I just want to get out of this mediocrity crap. I broke 100 one time and like went from like my best being a 103 to my best being a 93 out of nowhere because I was just able to hit the ball straight for one whole round. Keep it in play, keep it straight, good to go. Now I float like in the low 100s, but it's only because my short game improved that I even flirt with that. But I know if my ball striking was better, like I could be breaking 90 like easy. I truly believe that. Gotta play a lot and preferably with someone better. I mean, trust me, I'm definitely always playing with someone better. At this point, I'm definitely always playing with someone better. But yeah, I know I don't get to practice as much as I would like to. Like, what I realized with the weather being nice and my wife being out of town is that I would probably go to the range and hit balls and putt and everything almost every day. I would probably spend too much money on it. So I guess in a positive sense for my wallet, I am not a single man in my late 20s with disposable income. And that is definitely a positive. Okay, that was well off. That is definitely low. Yeah, I don't know. I think what's so frustrating right now, Scud, is I had like 2 weeks ago, or maybe like a week and a half ago, went to the range. I had watched some videos, had gotten some ideas, was, tinkering with some things, and all of a sudden it felt like it just clicked. And I was hitting like my 9-iron. So my 9-iron, because I'm crap, is probably like 115 with a chance of like 130 to 135 if things go better. I was all of a sudden, like, I could feel the compression, I could feel the center of the club face. I was getting it carrying 150, which I know is still not a lot, but it's a heck of a lot better. And I was like, oh, so this is what it feels like. This is so good. I was crushing shots, feeling great. Thought I had this feel. I'm like, okay, awesome. I have finally like had something click. We're going to enter like the next stage of development. Go out to the range. So my wife out of town. I'm at the range Friday, gonna play Saturday. I ended up going to the range Sunday and Monday too. Saturday or Friday at the range, it's gone. Can't get that feel back. Things are not great. First couple of shots were okay on the course on Saturday, but mostly more same old. Weakened to the right. Same thing Sunday and Monday. Like, I'm watching videos, I'm trying things, I'm trying to go back to stuff from lessons and feels, and like all of the stuff feels so rigid and so bad and short and everything. So yeah, we're just in a bit of a loop, so to speak. We'll break the cycle eventually. I was watching, I think I might actually start, I don't know, I used to watch a lot of Rick Shields, and then I watch a lot of, like, I'll still watch videos from, like, Me and My Golf, and Chris Ryan, and Danny Maud, and some different guys, and just try and, like, take different things and see what resonates. But I kind of had the idea, I had watched a video or two before, and have watched some more recently from Patrick Harrington, and I think honestly the concept of learning from a professional player, I think is resonating a little bit more with me, because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like the stuff with teaching pros changes all the time. I feel like somebody who's played at the highest level that has gone through stuff. I don't know. Maybe that's not the right. Maybe that is the right. But it might be interesting to gather some tips and tidbits of information from them. I think it's also just like I think there's a level of frustration that comes when, you know, I've been so self-taught for a while, but I've also now taken some lessons and feeling like the stuff at the lessons is only giving me a little, I don't know. I know it's not going to be an instant unlock, but just feeling like I'm not quite getting out of it what I am, I guess, wanting or expecting, but I also just struggle so much to, like, I'll have a good lesson, I'll have a good feel. It's the same thing that of, like, when I tried at the range, that I, like, lose it. Like, I'll try it, even just following the steps from it and doing the drills, I, like, lose it between lessons and have no idea how to find it again. So I think that's also, like, a really big thing for me. Just feeling like I have zero consistency in terms of even if I come home and every day do the practice feels like in my garage and stuff, I just feel like it doesn't stick. There's something in my head that, like, I just can't get that. I can't get that stuff to go with me, and I don't know why. Okay, apparently this round was harder and we did better, so ain't that always the case? Alright, let's play some Plat. I know we're a bit behind. I've been monologuing quite a bit, but such is how it goes. That is a-okay. I think sometimes the monologue is just what the people want. Alright, so final little reminder here before we roll into Plat. If you're watching over on YouTube, I know that the bot is putting out a message every once in a while, but a like goes a long way. Like goes a long, long way, and I would greatly appreciate it. It's the only way that YouTube knows that you're enjoying it. Nothing bad happens if you play on a different tour. No, so the TGC Tours only pulls in your scores. So they pull in all of your scores because they have all the information. It all comes through. But then they filter it out based on what tour card you have. So we have a Platinum tour card, so if we play Elite Kinetic or CC, they'll get the data, but on the website, it doesn't matter. They're not going to put it into any of the flights because we don't match up with it. So that's the reason why if somebody has something, like maybe you get an API check. If you go and play on another society, say you tinker with some settings or you try a new controller or whatever, you know, and you want to make sure that you're good to go, you could play around and be like, say you're an elite player, you could play Kinetic and be like, hey, can you look at Kinetic round 2? You know, and they can pull back the data that they have. If you're on a tour, then obviously, like, your scores are going to get pulled in like normal. But yeah, if you play any of the other ones, you're more than welcome to. There are even some, like, outside groups, like Happy Tea Friends is Plat and maybe some elite players that play CC every week and battle it out in a different thing. I think there's like a KHL, it's like a Kinetic something league. You know, they have these different... People have made these different, like, minigame tournament society type things that they do in spreadsheets on the side and Discords and whatnot. Yeah, it makes it easier to get more gameplay and you get practice on the types, or at least on the difficulty settings in a society format. You've got a bunch of options. I like to, instead of practicing the course and the conditions, which I know some people do and that's fine, I like to just try and pick another tour that has maybe similar-ish conditions on a round if I can find it. Normally I'm focused on green speed. If it's close enough on like winds and green speed, like perfect. But that's how I like to go about it. Just gives me, and I know it's in society versus local match, so I know I'm not going to deal with any mental like, well, it feels different. Whether it is or not, I know that it's like, this is how societies are playing to, you know, everything just feels right. Man, these allergies are just, they're absolutely destroying me. I've tried taking, like, I tried Zyrtec before, I'm trying Claritin now. It's not quite doing the job. I'm probably gonna have to look into some other options or just ride it out. But man, the pollen is just so bad. Pollen is just absolutely terrible. Naturally, we're getting server issues. Ooh. Excuse me. Right on cue. The pollen's like, hey, I'll make you sneeze. Don't you worry about it. Come on, game. You gonna ice me like this, really? They're like, yeah, you played well in CC, and CC was on like similar settings, so we're just gonna cool you a little bit here, see if you can rally back. Kinda rude. Kinda rude, man. I just want to play my golf. I just want to play my golf. Is that so much to ask? Man, this whole topspin situation, it's really putting a damper on my PGA. Really putting a damper on my PGA. Come on now. Bruh. Don't tell me, like, just now as we're gonna go in to actually play it, the servers are gonna go kaput. Because that's gonna... I would say light a fire under me. I don't know about that, but it's definitely gonna annoy me. Hello? All right, we gotta go to the source of truth. We all know what the source of truth is. Twitter. Oh, never mind. It's back. Alright, this better not freeze up on me, though. Say, take a shot of whiskey for allergies? I know that, I know they say for whooping cough to drink bourbon. My wife, when she was in high school, got whooping cough, and the doctor was like, I'm not supposed to recommend this, but, like, some bourbon with, you know, tea calms the throat. Good sleeping for the flu and the cold and everything else. Well, it's good. It's a suppressant for your throat. I don't think it's gonna help with like runny nose and stuff, but like I imagine the sore throat part of it, taking the little bit of a drink of, you know, whiskey or bourbon or rye or whatever, anything kind of in that family is probably gonna help that out. But yeah, as far as like getting my nose to stop running, I don't think alcohol is going to solve anything, but I don't know. All right, let's get into some Plat here. We are back for round 2 at Prairie Dunes, and this real life course is proving to be quite difficult. We got out to a strong start, had some not issues, but just found the par train, and then the par train is the big thing that we want to try and stay off of. That doesn't mean we want bogeys, but we want to be able to try and find as many birdies, maybe find an eagle out there if we can. But we're playing off the back tees here in round 2. We've got high winds out of the northeast. The fairways and greens are default, which is some variant of firm, but the greens slowed down here to moderate. So if we can dial things in, I mean, it all comes down to the course, because we've played in high winds. Firm, and moderate is not like the craziest of conditions, but got to be able to get it close enough to make the putt, and ultimately that's what it boils down to. Getting it nice and comfortably on the green, fairways and greens, and then just get that putter heated up. So if you're watching over on YouTube and you've been enjoying these rounds, please consider dropping a sub and a like on the video and the channel. It goes a long way. But without further ado, we are off into the races. Trying to, we got to what, 10 under yesterday, with definitely the opportunity for a bit more. Kind of an interesting tournament thus far, in that there are definitely some higher scores at the top, but it falls off very quickly. So it's just one of those courses that can very easily get you just finding pars. I don't think it's one that's going to give up a lot of double bogeys. Maybe a little bit of bogey here and there. Need a Colby recording emote? I mean, you can use ones that you've got. I don't mind. The thing is, like, I encourage the chatting. I am very much so okay with people talking. Hey, what's going on, Lockstead? Welcome back. Alright, that's gonna come up a little bit shorter. And that's what I'm talking about. Even on moderates, you've got to have your distance control. That came up quite a bit shorter than I expected it to. And as you see, all of a sudden, you are off of the green. The crazy part is I'm almost considering putting this. You give it a lot of power, it wouldn't turn over a lot, maybe right up towards the top. Don't think we have a fringe here. Still a little bit firm, but with it being so uphill, I don't know, with how tight that is, I didn't really trust hitting the chip shot with that slope there. Kind of a funky green though. We're sitting in a little bit of a valley. I feel like you have to hit this firm and straight and hope that it does, like... That's just nasty. That's just nasty. We're sitting in a valley with like a little bit of break there. I don't love that. I don't love that. I know you always say don't love bogey on the first. I don't love taking bogey that way. And I know I didn't hit that quite straight, but that definitely broke and wasn't like a... That wasn't from the push. But, you know, it happens. It's just always about how do you rally back. And I think you rally back with a shot like this. All right, I'm not gonna take it for granted. I'm not gonna take it for granted. We're gonna look at it. Cause like after that last one, we can't take it for granted. All right, so even through two, problem solved. No OB around here. It's 359, and that would give us a long. Give us the long flop. Downhill to 320. We can definitely get long enough. I don't know, like, is there too much risk going long here? Plenty of light rough in sight. 320. The wind's only playing a little bit, but downhill definitely should play a few yards. So I can get this out into like the 340s pretty easily. Bounce it into there. I'll just play full backspin. See what we can do with it. Little bit slow, so we're gonna fade, but I'm also, I think in the back of my mind, a little bit scared about getting too far to the left. Alright, so now we get to that long flop. It might even... Or long splash, long flop. Flop is actually potentially a little bit too far. Okay, so if we take splash shot here, 90% is right at the hole, 80% is obviously a few yards short of it. I'm trying to think. It's a little bit uphill. How do you want to play this? I think you give it just a little bit off. Just give it a chance to go potentially a little bit long. But you don't want it to be mega short. Ah, slowed it. Gosh darn it. Not often am I ever taking that full splash shot, and I think I was scared that the regular input was going to be too fast, and so pulled off of it a little bit, but clearly it was way too much to take off there. So that's definitely less than ideal. Now we've got this downhill putt to try and make birdie. And it's definitely makeable, but it's certainly going to be tough. I didn't hit it hard enough. I must have hit it just like a % under. Oh, that stings. That stings for sure. Had the line. Had the line and everything. Alright, 180, get like 10 in. It's definitely, I don't think gonna quite play 170. Maybe with the angle here it would. Maybe with the angle here it would. So let's give enough respect to it. Can I actually give it a little bit of D-loft and topspin? Try and use that backstop. Like at a worst case scenario. I guess the only thing with that thought process is you've got 134 greens. So there is a little bit of concern trying to use a backstop. Like, it has to be pretty steep. Alright, I'm not gonna take off as much power here. There we go. So that last one, we learned. We missed that last one, had the right read on it. So we gotta trust the reads that we've got at the moment, but make sure that we're just gauging the power correctly. All right, so turning the tides in our favor here. A little bit slower start than yesterday, but ball striking is pretty good. Ultimately just off a little bit on some of these wind reads. Just a little bit off on some of these putt powers, but just gotta keep our head down. Keep trying to grind it out. Playing the low 160s, 5 yards. It's firm, then slower. So I'll just play like a touch on it. Let this work its way back to the green. Can't be slowing it out that way though. That's so bad. And I think that must have counted as a fairway hit because of the way that that bounced and rolled out. That doesn't seem right for landing on the green unless maybe that downslope is what does it. Alright, so we've gotta be mindful here. Something like this is probably fine. Gotta add quite a bit, to be honest. Underhit it. Gosh darn it. I don't know what's getting in my head on some of these, but like the last thought that goes through my head is, all right, gotta make sure that you get the right power, and then somehow that just throws everything off. Somehow the thought of making sure I hit my power means that I don't hit my power. Like, I don't want to be telling my brain to not hit the power, you know? That seems kind of backwards. 313. Probably into the 320s, 330s. And you can definitely get this down there a good ways. Is it 360? I'm going for it. I hit it OB. I didn't think we were gonna hit it that fast though. Yeah, there's the brain on the follow-up one. I really trusted myself to do it. I really trusted myself to do it. Gosh darn it. I thought we had the play. I thought we had it in us. I was feeling it. Now my brain is just not gonna let the perfect happen. It's just gonna put us at slow every time. Oh man. All right. Yeah, we're gonna have to steady the ship again. Cause now we've given strokes away. Oh man, Colby. At least we save bogey, right? Don't want to be adding to McTreese's double stat, but even through 6, I mean, it just goes to show you like how this course can bite you. You know, it's very easy to get baited into things or have a miss and go OB, or you know, have these greens get to you. So let's buckle in. Let's try and get something good going on this par 5 and fix things up a bit. How about that? I lofted it too much. Or put too much spin on it, I guess. Just trying to land it back towards this. I mean, this is at least below the hole. So it gives us a chance to get a little bit of double break going up it. So as long as we can get the right feed in here. No! I had it, and then it actually broke. Alright. I mean, we can still do something pretty great the rest of the way. And the beauty of it is it's a 4-round tournament, right? At the end of the day, that is the biggest takeaway. You were not done in completely by one set of holes. I mean, obviously, if you butcher multiple rounds, then yeah, probably. But a few holes stretch. It's law of averages. Ultimately, it is law of averages. We want to make sure that we're up here. And this wind probably plays us back. I don't want to like loft it too much. So we'll just give it a touch. We'll just give it a touch. 'Cause I think that's all it needs. I mean, distance is on point there, but now you got to bring the putt home. Now you got to bring the putt home, and like, look how much that's turning. Now the question is this... Come on. There's the adjustment. Back-to-back birdies for the first time. Fire me up. Come on, we can make it 3 in a row going into the turn. You know, at the end of the day, the scores can come in any way, right? If you birdie out, now this is just theoretically, right? But you could go 12 under in any number of ways. Yeah, we went 10 under yesterday, and we had 6 birdies in the first 7 holes. But you could just the same way, you could shoot 10 under and be par through 8 and birdie out 9 through 18, or you could be like I normally am and be like 8 under to start and finish at 11 under, you know, and you're 8 under through 9, and then you end with 3 birdies the rest of the way. So it can definitely get done in a multitude of ways. With this much wind at the back, I always struggle to know. Do you try and pitch it? Because the pitch is definitely going to come up a little bit short. Wind is still going to play a bit, but then you get maybe a hop and stop. Whereas the other option is try and play your lob wedge. I feel like lob wedge just always speaks to me a little bit more. I just don't trust my pitch tempo as much. But pitch is definitely way less in terms of... Hey, man. Gosh darn it. The pitch is always just like, that's such a variable to me. But when you make these decisions, like, you gotta execute at the end of the day. Use the wind, don't fight it. Yeah, I gotta do a better job about getting those, like, long pitches in, even with tailwinds. It's gotta just be outside the number here. Ooh, that was weird. Like at the start, it almost felt like it somehow started outside. So 3 under going out, it happens. But yeah, we got there. It could have been a lot worse. I think we're showing good fight. Maybe not great decision making and great execution across the board here, but yeah, score's a score. You know, the order in which it comes and how it comes. That's always up for gosh darn it, man. That slow just always seems to be creeping in a little bit much these days. I think that's just when my brain is fighting off what feels like could be a fast. I didn't hit it firm enough. I missed it by like 1%. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. You gotta hit it. You gotta hit it. Alright, we're gonna take that one quick. It's a long par 4 here, but it's all about just getting into the fairway. Wins in like 9. It's not gonna quite play 9. I mean, by the time we aim it, I guess maybe it is getting close to that 9 spot. So tough because like you want to be on the green, but you also don't want to lose this shot. I can't land it much shorter with much confidence. That's the hard part, but you've got to take a 6-iron in. 20-footer? Eh. Definitely dream of better than that. Why does it feel like these greens are lying to me? Okay. Let's reread this because feels like this. I think this is what was throwing me off. This feels like it creeps kind of the other way. I guess this is still playing more. Such a weird putt. Yeah, and like right there you can see how it just kind of broke through everything. I don't know if that's just it's more break out on the outside. But it just highlights my inability to make putts. Some weird greens though on that. And I know that some of that is a product of these being LiDAR greens. LiDAR greens are always going to have just that little bit extra propensity. See, that changes a lot, because all of a sudden that wind playing in is potentially big time. Okay. Fast keeping us left and long, but at least the D-loft read was good. 12-footer still has a chance. It's just this guy starts to break a little bit more as we go outside here to the left. Oh, come on, thank goodness. going on, Albino? Think LiDAR greens pick up some directional grain? I don't know that, because I don't know to what detail the game engine would be able to translate that, so I want to say no. But I also know that, you know, a lot of times these LiDARs, you know, like I know McTree's with this port, you know, he went in and flattened some stuff out and made it so that it plays to the green settings that the game utilizes. Like the LiDARs don't naturally translate well. But as far as that goes with like graining, like grain direction stuff, I wouldn't think that the game even has the capability to process any of that. So we have to hit a pitch here, but this is very difficult. This is very, very difficult. So like we're all the way down here. How far is anything gonna play? Is the real question. Well, sure as heck hope that this read is correct. Have the backstop? What backstop? It all runs away to the right if I go long. Watch. Oh, that's a huge shot. Absolutely massive. I hate how much that breaks in such a short amount of time because I'm so uncomfortable aiming it where I did. I am so uncomfortable aiming it where I did. I'm looking at it and I was like, if this thing just blazes by high side, I'm gonna be so upset. Yeah, it's funny with the way that these distances play in this game. We have a lot of opportunities to just send it. Now, I know we got ourselves into trouble before, so I'm not going to go for the overpower. But 321, 331, wind in the back, into the 350s. And then just bound it down. Maybe we can find fairway. I mean, definitely try and split the gap there. If we end up in the light rough or the bunker, is not too bad. Like, this is just some of these holes with the amount of light rough that there is. My value of the fairway, as much as I love it, having a fairway shot from 100 something versus like I'm starting to grow a little bit more okay with the light rough on a pitch. Because you're only losing like 3 yards. But this is definitely a tough one. Because we're kind of in that spot of I can fully loft this. Like full loft, full backspin, probably land it like here. And it's just a matter of how big is the hop gonna be? And how much backspin would it actually generate? Moderates and uphill. We might have to get some ground game going. We might have to get some ground game going. Full foot uphill though. Hey, thank you, Albino. Appreciate it. I have this like weird. I'm so in between on these because I feel like the gap wedge. I feel like the gap wedge could be it. I don't want to go long is the big thing. I'm gonna go gap wedge on it. Gonna go gap wedge. Because it should land somewhere in here. Bounce and start rolling. If it's a little bit short, it's okay. You want to have a chance at it, but you also don't want to just completely lose it, so. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So there's a very subtle thing that I did there, and I made sure to go for the big fast as opposed to the perfect because the fast gets a little bit more rollout. If I go for the perfect, I know that I'm pretty much consigning myself to, like, or conceding that it's gonna be short. So the fast gets a little bit more left than I account for, but ultimately I think that that's the play that we have to be making there. This is such a tough shot. Okay. Especially because the amount of shot shape that they allow you to play is minimal. Because I think 4-iron, the way that this is playing, what I would love to do is play maybe a little bit of cut. Like, just play a little bit of cut into it. I think we can work this through. A little bit too far to the right. And still rolls through. It's the right idea, just starts a little bit right of where we want it, and then you still get that big release, which is kind of crazy. I guess it's that firm bounce, despite the moderate greens and the wind in the face. I made an adjustment out to the right and still low on that. It's so hard. It's so hard when you're trying to break a putt in from the top. I feel like with the way these greens always play in this game is like if you have to drop it in from like that, you know, 8:30, 9 o'clock or 3:30, 3 o'clock kind of angle, I feel like your chances of making it are so slim. I know that the hole is the same width no matter what angle you go, but I feel like the more break, it's just so much harder to hit that exact spot. Because I feel like the amount of pace that you have to hit with to hit it anywhere lower on the clock face, so to speak, you are like unplayable, so you have to play it slower and from the high side, and it very, very hard to gauge. you get like an 11-mile-an-hour wind here, we're gonna play definitely stronger into it. So maybe even just play something here. Good distance, it just didn't really cut back. Pin high though. JDK, thank you very much for the sub, appreciate it. Those are video game shots, Yava. How you doing, man? Welcome back. Yeah, or at least like you see them sometimes in real life, but like they're not the common putt. You know? The frequency that we see those sorts of putts on these courses is way higher. I feel like when you find those putts, a lot of times you're like super out of position in real life. In this game, you don't have to be super out of position. Did we leak? We did. That fairway kicks to the right. That's gonna take away our ability to get there too. I think even with the perfect, that probably runs out. Hey, what's going on, Bobo? How's it going? Alright, still reachable. We've got that going for us, at least. For 220s, maybe right around pin high. It's gonna be an interesting one, because we full loft this 235, but then that brings us more in only the 12-yard loss, so 23, a little bit short. Maybe if we try and cut it just a touch up against the wind. Brought it back a touch left because I just felt like we were leaking too far to the right. Apparently we weren't, but I just felt like that wind was gonna get completely annihilated. So much break early on. Alright. Is this enough break? That's always the ultimate question. And at least this time, it feels like it does have a chance. And give it just a little bit more. Come on, let's get to one more. We can have 2 10s, which is like way better than it looked like it could have been at the start here. So I know we're definitely falling down the leaderboard. Not a strong second round showing, but a very good fight. A very good fight to bring it back. You know, obviously we can look in hindsight and not go for that one hole. You know, that's a pretty stupid bogey to take. But course is just tough, and we're, you know, just enough off when it requires extreme precision and some better putting. So have to continue to accept our fate. All right, go somewhere like here. Wind's gonna cut in just a little bit, take a few more yards off. Stop hitting it slow, Hobie. Stop hitting it so slow. Don't know where that comes from, but that's our miss at the moment. These are so painful. Like, I don't know how I don't know how you approach these with any form of consistency because it's so dependent on what does this early break play like. All right, that was a weird 10. That was a weird 10. Very, very slow start, but we're able to rally a bit. I know we're dropping down the leaderboard. I get it. It's definitely not ideal, but a pair of 10s still is T33 on PlayStation. Gonna put us easily back into the 40s or 50s. But the big thing, anytime that we have rounds that we're not happy with, the biggest thing is that we're not falling so far that we're flirting with the bottom 20%. So we're comfortably mid-pack. Definitely have it in us, you know, to keep working it back. But yeah, definitely a little bit of a reality check. Like have to work that tempo out. But I like the way that we fought back even through 6 to finish at 10 under. You know, do the math. That's 10 under through 12 holes. So it's definitely a very good finish to that. So that's round 2 in the books. We'll see what moving day brings us tomorrow. Yeah, thank you guys. Also, what's going on, Swede? Welcome back. Complain about slow swing, hit it to 8 feet, Platinum Tour Pro. Yeah, but like you have to be, I don't know. At that point, I think it becomes a little bit about luck. You know, I think if we don't hit it fast, you know, maybe it's still 8 foot in a different direction, but I don't know. It's an interesting thing because it's very easy to say your swing means nothing if your shot setup isn't right, but your shot setup doesn't matter if your swing isn't right. So you have to find that balance of like, you want your swing to be so second nature and you don't have to think about it, you execute, and it's about just picking how you want to approach things and working the ball through. So sometimes you get lucky when you set it up and maybe you were a little bit off and your input's a little bit off and it comes together. I mean, I have the prime example of that. Let me dig this up because this is a good clip. This is a good clip. All about knowing where to miss? Yeah, I mean, there's definitely that too. I feel like in the video game sense, if I am worried about my miss, I end up missing wrong because it's just so much easier for me to have a two-way miss in this game, but I definitely understand the thought process. Right. All right. So when we talk about sometimes just lucky mistakes, here we go. Right. So I'm hoping that this aim is correct. This was Plat a number of weeks ago. Let's load it. I'm gonna get away with it too. Wow, I over-aimed. This is the best very slow of my life. You know, show off the bald spot for good measure. Right. Yeah, sometimes you just do get a little bit lucky. Sometimes you do just get a little bit lucky and like you aim it out into the wrong spot, but sometimes it comes back around and you get a hole-in-one. Are you always gonna be that lucky? Not really, no. But yeah, that's probably the best miss I've ever had. I think I've hit one other hole-in-one from like a big miss before. I don't think I have a clip of it though. Great roller coaster route. We're actually going to get it wrapped up here, but thank you for being here, Swede. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. All right, let's do the wrap up. So today's stream was a little all over the place. We should be back, barring any more car breakdowns or any crazy crap happening tomorrow. 7:30 should be at normal time. Should be at normal time. Back to 7:30. We'll have time for a Hades run afterwards, trying to get our 10th win on that game. Try and get credit roll. But yeah, so a pair of 10s. Pair of 10s here. It's not great. I'm not happy with it, but I am very happy with how we finished. 10 under through 12 to finish after an even through 6 start. It's a much better 10 under than it could have been. That being said, we will fight again tomorrow. Normal time. If you watched over on YouTube, I greatly appreciate it. I know it's a very new thing. I'm enjoying the multi-streaming stuff. It's been going very, very well. So I ask 2 things. On your way out, if you enjoyed the stream, drop a like on it. That does tremendous things for me. And if you are new and lurking about, first off, appreciate you being here. Second off, consider dropping a sub and clicking the little notification bell so you know when this stream goes live in the future. I'll try and put the schedule out for 7:30 on the proper days. Just know Monday through Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, we will be live. Both Twitch and YouTube. Can do that for me? Can you dance? I was this close, Locke said. I was this close to trying to do a little bit of dancing, but I'm so bad at dancing that I'm not gonna do it. But we're gonna call that a wrap on the stream. We're gonna go and raid out here over on Twitch, so I'm gonna go find somebody. For now, YouTube signing off till tomorrow. I will catch you guys later.